We see a lot of things online and we jump onto it right away without even giving it a second thought that what kind of implications can this have on me. I mean, self improvement is great, and wanting to make changes in the things you don't like is also great. But have you ever thought that what if the change can be bad, and what if what you're doing can lead you to some place in yourself which you're not yet ready to deal with? For example, now let's get a little deeper. Imagine, Karo, that you saw a technique online where they ask you to forgive others, and they tell you कि जो भी हुआ है, there's a soul contract, there's a karmic connection, and you have to let it go, which I'm not denying is right, and that you just have to be compassionate and forgive everyone, everything, and like get it off, get it rid of. But if you jump right onto it, sometimes you realize later that you did not really forgive that person, and forgiveness should come from within. And if you keep on doing this, it somehow becomes kind of a delusion that you're not really forgiving others, but just for the sake of it, you're doing it. And you're letting go of people. And you think that you have forgive that person, but that trauma is still there. You still remember, like, it's funny how people say that I forgive, but I don't forget. But if you don't forget, then that emotion, that feeling, and that incident is still there in you. Now, people might argue that no, I have forgiven, but I just remember what happened. But how can you detach yourself from that emotion? Like, I mean to say, have you even reached that stage? The sole reason why I'm making this video is so that people realize that all these techniques which you see and everything, why do you think that these people have school, organization and all of that if they gave it all out online? There must be something that they are like teaching people or making them learn in a very closed environment. Like, have you ever thought of that? If it all was that easy and it all went through books, why were there disciples? And why were there people who actually went and learned it? For example, there's a technique where you witness people, and not people, you witness everything and you become a witness. You don't really participate as a person, but more of an observer, a witness. And it's very deep. But what happens is that some of us, what we do is that there are two people now, one who is witnessing and one who is living. We don't get this thing straight of how to be a witness, because we have read it from the books, we have seen it in the videos, and see, each one of us have our own way of concluding things, and whatever we understand we implement, and sometimes what we implement is not really healthy for us. So while you're witnessing, you're somehow detaching yourself from your own body, your own perspective, and what happens is that, so when you're not witnessing correctly, or you're not like really aware of what really witnessing means, what you're all doing is that you're dissociating yourself, and actually dissociating from yourself slowly. And this has happened to me. I went into this mode of let's witness, let's be a witness, and I won't lie, to some extent it does save you from emotional trauma. You like kind of become numb if a lot of problematic things have happened to you and you don't really want to deal with it anymore. If you kind of become the witness, then you're not participating, then nothing is really happening to you. And by to you, do you understand what I mean? Like, कुछ भी आपके साथ नहीं हो रहा है, आप देख रहे हो उसको होता हुआ. You're not participating in it actively. Like, आप काम कर रहे हो but mindfully. Happened to me was I started to become a witness, and मैंने technique follow करी, and dissociation started to happen, and it went so bad that I started to see people as objects, and it was really bad. Like, this is what happens when we want to seek help for something and we think that this is the solution. We don't read much about it, we don't go through authentic sources of it, we just hear it from somebody, read it from somewhere, and we conclude it in our own terms and meanings. And this is where it leads. So it is very important that we don't jump right away to whatever we hear, and to actually take time for everything. Like, go to the depth of it, think about it. Just because somebody else has thought about it, don't just sit on that train and go to their destination. Like, choose your own destination. Like, think of it like that some person went to Jammu and something good happened to that person, so you don't have to go with that person. You can take some other train, and you have heard that Jammu is a place where good things happen, so go on your own. Like, let the journey happen in its own. Just learn and then detach. What I feel in this new age spiritual community is that a lot of people are not really taking that perspective and then thinking on their own. They are just blindly believing people and the techniques they are taught, and they are not really going deep into it with their own mind. And by mind I mean with their own meanings and their own search for it. It can't be true that the method that somebody else has applied will take you to your own destination. Do you think that all the visionaries and the enlightened people we see, that both of them had the same method or the same meaning when they jumped upon to embark the meaning of who am I? We all see different schools of thoughts because there are different school of thoughts, and we don't really want to be that. We just want to be a student, and there's nothing wrong being a student, but someday we have to pass, right? This was a very intuitive video which I wanted to make, and I guess even if I was small and I looked upon this kind of video, it would have saved a lot of my time, and a lot of wrong steps would be saved.